Okay, so we have the two questions here which we are required to solve. First one is simplify 2a plus open bracket b minus a minus 2b, and then the other one is evaluate 64 over 125 raised to power negative 1/3. So now we begin our solution for question 1. For us to solve this question, the easy way to do that is first you have to identify the signs of each variable in the question. So for example, we have 2a, b, the variables which we have each independent variable. So we have 2a and then b, negative a, and then negative b. So first identify the signs of each, because that will help you simplify the work. So like in our question here, we have the brackets. So first of all, we have to get rid of the brackets. How do we remove them? We don't just remove them like that. No wonder it's very important to know the signs of each variable. So you multiply with a sign which is outside the bracket here. So if there is a number, together with this sign, you multiply it with whatsoever is in the bracket. So in our case, we don't have a number here, meaning it is just a 1, or rather just a sign positive. So you multiply positive, the b, as you can see, is positive if it doesn't have a sign, meaning it's a positive. Even this one, 2a, meaning is what? A positive variable with a coefficient 2. This one has a coefficient of 1, this one has a coefficient of -1, this one has a coefficient of -2. So here I was just rewriting here, I was just helping you, trying to let you know the signs which we have in the question before getting rid of the brackets. So we have positive 2a, positive b, negative a, minus negative b. So here are some of the multiplication rules which you can use for the signs. If you have the positive multiplied by a positive, you get a positive. A positive multiplied by a negative, you get a negative. A negative multiplied by a negative, you get a positive. Then a negative multiplied by a positive, you get a negative. So the rules of multiplying signs is if the signs are the same, your answer has to be positive. If you are multiplying two different signs, your answer will have a negative sign. So this is it. After multiplying the signs, you get rid of the brackets. So we have 2a plus b minus a minus 2b. So here now you group right terms. Grouping like terms is you look for the variables with the same, or I can say you look for the numbers which look alike. Okay, for lack of better terms, yeah, numbers which look alike. For example, you can see we have the 2a, and then we get an a again here, a b, and then we have a b. So these, they work in the same office. These, they work in the same office. So we group them. 2a, we get minus a plus the b minus 2b. So now here I was just trying to help you figure out what is happening here. What we are saying here is 2a, you subtract a, is same as 2 minus 1, but it will have the variable a. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So we can't just write. This is what I was trying to do here, trying to factor out the a outside, trying to show you the coefficients which are what is happening here. So we are subtracting the coefficients, and then plus. So you got a plus there, b, and then here the coefficient is 1. So meaning 1b minus 2b. Your answer has to be negative b. So I was just trying to show you what is really happening here if you say b minus 2b. You see? So that is it. For question 2, it's an indices problem. So there are just some rules which you have to be familiar with before answering this question. One of the rules is how to convert a negative index power to a positive index power. So for example, here I was trying to show, if at all we have a to the power -2, how do we convert it to a positive index? It's just 1 divided by this same function without a sign here. The one here represents the negative. So negative b to the power 3, it will be just, as a positive index, it's just 1 over b raised to the same power it had. Okay, so that is it. Next. So now we're trying to convert that given equation now as a positive index. So it's just 1 divided by the whole function raised to its power. You see? So that is raised to its power there. Here, you have to know how to do these things. So it's 1 divided by the whole function minus the power. Then use the indices formula. So we have an indices formula. If at all an integer is raised to a fraction, if an integer is raised to a fraction, we use this formula. So you get the number which is here, you put it inside here, inside the square, and then the numerator becomes its power, and then its denominator, it will come here. So if we have 2 over 3 here, 2, a as 2 and then b as 3, the b will come here, so here it will be 3, and then a raised to power what? The numerator, which is 2. So that's what I was trying here to show here. If you have c raised to power n, m, these two represent represent numbers. M and n represent numbers. So you can have any number here, but it has to be a positive. It has to be in a positive index for you to use this formula. No wonder first we've tried to solve using positive, convert the function into a positive index, and then see to it that we can do all those stuffs. So here I was just trying converting it, and then I was just dividing the numerator. Okay, so yeah, so this is just a way of converting the function which is in a negative index form to a positive index form. So like I was saying, you just say 1 divided by the function itself, raised to the power it had, but minus with it, I mean without a sign, sorry. Yeah, so that is what I've written here. Yeah, so then use the formula of indices. So there is a formula in the book for positive functions with a fraction power. So a fraction, that's where you have a number raised to, or a number raised to the power, which is a function, or it's a mixed fraction rather. So you have, for example, you are given the variable, or you are given an integer a raised to the power a. Yeah, I was supposed to use another letter here just to avoid the confusion with this a. So you have a function a raised to the power, which is a fraction again, a over b. So now expressing it into its simplest form is just as shown here, where you just write a square root, and then the b will come here, and then the function itself a, it will come into the square root raised to a power, which is the numerator of this, the numerator of the fraction. So this is just the same explanation, c raised to the power n over m. So mind you, this function is in positive index 1, 2, n and m represent integers, of the particular equations or anything you've been given. So I was just trying to emphasize the rule here. So c will come into here, into the square root raised to the power, which is the numerator, and then the m goes here. So you know, if its m is 3, meaning we are looking for the cube root of this number. Cube root means the number which you can multiply 3 times. The same number, it has to be multiplied 3 times, and it has to give you this number. If it's 4 here, meaning it's a 4th root, you have to look for the number here, c. So you have to look for the number which you can multiply the same number repeatedly 4 times, and then it has to give you the value c. So moving forward to the question we had, I was just trying to separate the numerator. We had the numerator there, 64, raised to the power. So this power is not only on 125, it's on both 125 and 64. So this power goes to 64 as well as 125. So I was trying to separate them here. Yeah, you have the power here 64, which is the numerator, raised to power 1/3, and then 125 again raised to power 1/3. And then we use this formula now. C. So here our C here is what? 64. Yeah, so this is now, according to that formula, is M, and then our N here is 1, and then here our C is 125, our M is 3, and our N is 1. So we just replace in the formula here 1, the 1, don't forget the 1. This one is from converting this equation into a positive index. So you have a 1 divided by 64 raised to power M. M is 3, and then power 1 here. So what this means is, it means a cube root of 64, and then you raise it to power 1. So cube root from the 3 here. So you are looking for the number, the same number, it has to be multiplied repeatedly 3 times, then it has to give you 64. The same number. So don't look for different numbers, 2, 6, 4. No, doesn't work like that. You distort the meaning of the same functions. So if I say the cube root of 4, meaning I'm looking for the numbers which you can multiply 4 times to give you that same number 4. So the numbers have to be the same. That is a rule. So 64 here, looking for the number which we can multiply 3 times to give us 64 is 4. If you multiply 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4, it will give you what? 64. So 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. 16 multiplied by 4 is 64. So that's what it means here. So cube root of 64 is what? 4. And then 4 raised to power 1. So any number raised to power 1 is just that number. So if it was 2 here, we could have said cube root of 64, number we can multiply 3 times to give us 64, which is the 4. And then 4 power 2, meaning again we have to multiply 4 times 4. If it's power 3, is 3 here is 4 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 4. Same applies to here. We look for the number which we can multiply 3 times to give us 125. Same number repeatedly. So that will be 5. 5 multiplied by 5 is 25. 25 multiplied by 5 is 125. So meaning the cube root of 125 is what? 5. Meaning we've removed this thing, the square root. We've removed this. This just simply means a cube root. So if you find a number which you can multiply 3 times to give you 125, meaning you've removed this, now you are remaining with the power. So 5 to power 1, any number to power 1 is what? The number itself. So that is it here. So we have a 4 power 1, 5 power 1. So it's just same as not writing it. Yeah, so you have 1 divided by this fraction. So I was trying to give you a clear picture here that you have a 1 divided by 4 over 5. Yeah, so this is a simple division problem. So division rules, you introduce a multiplication here, and if you introduce a multiplication there, the function or the function to your left alternates. The numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes what? The numerator. So that is it here. If you are dividing 1 divided by a fraction, so you just introduce a cross here, and then this fraction here alternates. So the 5 will go up, the 4 will come down, will be at the bottom. Yeah, so and then multiply. So that is what is happening here. You remove the division, replace it with a cross, and then the function to your left, you alternate. The denominator becomes the numerator, the numerator becomes the denominator. So here our numerator was 4 and our denominator was 5. So they alternate, and then now the 5 now becomes the numerator and the 4 becomes the denominator. So you know that this is same as over 1
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is same as over 1 over 1. So 1 multiplied by 5 is 5, and then 1 multiplied by 4 is 4. You can convert it to a mixed fraction. 4 into 5 is 1, and then remainder 1 over 4. So that is it. Yeah, thank you for your time. If you have questions, suggestions, please invite your friends. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.